Welcome to episode 3. It's 5 o'clock somewhere with Ilana and Mike. We're talking about AI today, everything AI. Mike and I were chatting after a digital dealer, which I unfortunately missed this year. And one of the things that he mentioned is, yeah, of course, there's CDP, and CDP is going to continue to be a huge theme of 2024. But what do you do with that data? And what do you do with your CDP? And how do you actually use AI insights and leverage machine learning to enhance your CDP experience? So that's sort of like the theme that Mike took away from Digital Dealer and just from conversations he's been having in the field. So that's what we'll talk about today. Mike, do you want to start off with some of the themes you've been seeing, hearing?
The conversations at Digital Dealer, a lot of it was more centered around AI. And, it's interesting because AI kind of has these waves in auto,
Yeah.
similar to you know, if you go back, it was the year of attribution, it's attribution, then it's the year of this, and it's the year of
Digital
AI.
retail, yeah.
Right, digital retail. So, I think if you take a step back and you look at like what's happening with like Bard and GPT, the everyone's like using it on like a daily basis now, where previously I would say that like it was more of like a buzzword kind of like every single company was just like slapping AI on their product, and it was like, oh, it's a this is an AI, chatbot. This is an AI, something, everything AI, AI, AI. And I think everyone, and even having conversations with people, I feel like everyone was just like, it was almost like a turnoff back then when people would say AI, they'd be like, oh, another AI company. And like, how could you like show that to someone to say like, oh, this actually is AI? But a lot of the conversations that were being had was basically like because everyone is using it and because everyone is now basically, using it to help their daily operations and things of that nature. Now people are coming and saying, how can I now put that into my daily operations because I can do it with myself, whether it's responding to an email, whether it's creating a spreadsheet, whether it's doing anything like that. So there was a lot of conversations to say like, how can I actually use this A into my vendor mix and B in store at my process? Like, how can I actually take the amazing tools that we have just in general, prompting and write me an email or write whatever. But now, how can I use that to use business intelligence to make better decisions and optimize workflows? That was a really big conversation.
I'll also just add, like for myself as well, ChatGPT sort of made the like LLM and machine learning very tangible, right? Like you're mentioning, everyone can actually use it. It's large language models, which was so foreign to most people. Now you like can actually understand and you can see a machine in front of your eyes actually process like huge ideas and be creative and actually take like a prompt and help you with your operations. I know you mentioned this. I'm just talking from like my experience. Once it's once it's something that you use in like your personal life, it's a much easier way to understand, okay, this is actually something that's real and that I need to actually implement into my business. And the AI that we're talking about from like 20, I don't know, 10 in automotive is no longer the machine learning AI that we're talking about today, right? It's not like rule based. It's not like, okay, someone opens up my email, trigger off this email, and that's like, was AI in 2010 for automotive. Now we're talking about um, generative AI and like responsive AI and AI that really mimics a human and a machine that can actually learn from large data sets. So that's going to influence automotive, I think, a big theme for 2024.
Yeah, yeah. I would also say like the other like big topic was obviously CDPs. I think the bell curve of which people were saying, what the heck is this new acronym to, okay, I saw I'm starting to understand it, to now basically everyone is saying, hey, in 2024. And us personally are having these conversations, whether we're getting RFPs or things of that nature, is that in one of the conferences excuse me, the speakers that I was in, is that they're, in my opinion, like your tech stack in 2024 is going to be your, for your data side would be CRM, DMS, and also a CDP. Now, when you look at those and then you pile on AI into that, the amount of information that you can bubble up based off of all of that information is vast. And
Yeah.
the ability for you to process and get tangible insights from that is really powerful. And I think that's where we're starting to see a lot of really big, shifts. I was in Kevin Fry's presentation. He actually made this really cool video. If you guys haven't seen it, which is basically going in and saying like, how can I use this to basically make these decisions for me? So when I come in the morning, instead of running 15 reports, how can I run, whatever it's called, a query, and say, hey, here are the vehicles people are looking at. Here's what we should buy. Here's what's on the auction. Do you want to do this? Yes, no, and then move on. So that is like really, really powerful. And I think that's kind of where we're going to see this evolution kind of move to.
You hit on AI actually affecting and influencing not just marketing and sales, which is generally what we talk about, but also business operations, right? Like coming in, running reports, queries. I envision 2024 generative AI is going to take over way more than just the sales and marketing side of dealerships. Even service. Things like the incoming phone calls, etc. I don't know how much this was spoken about at Digital Dealer or if you're talking about this with clients, but where you think, like, let's say CDPs are obviously the big theme for 2023. AI is going to be the big thing for 2024. When we think about CDPs and AI, what's that crossover and how is that going to affect every part of the business, right? Like, how do you see that affecting dealership business operations and marketing and sales? Loaded
Yeah,
question.
I think that as we kind of move forward, we'll be able to be able to get a better lens into the data and kind of make sense of it. I would say the next really evolution for CDPs in auto is more business intelligence, meaning
Yeah.
what can I see? How are my customers interacting? Can I see who my most valuable customers are? What demographics are we coming from? What geos are we coming from? If we take a phased step, is basically saying how can we create better connection points with the systems that we currently have right now. I think as we all know, there's not like uh, fluid APIs that are abundant that we can all tap into. So how can we make sense of the data that we have right now, get it in a clean manner. B, then how can we normalize that and resolve all those IDs and keep it flowing. Second part is like once we can now see what people are doing, I think that's really powerful where we can actually then say, all right, well now I'm not marketing to just numbers and Google Analytics and looking at trends and saying, hey, this is converting here. Let's change this to tweak this. Now we can actually pull people and we can market to people versus numbers, which is super, super powerful. And I think that now the next phase is now we can then start going a layer deeper to then say, all right, well now let's start pulling this. Can I see like what are the similarities for EV shoppers, which is a hot topic of conversation right now. If they're getting all these EVs in, how can I then look at my data and look at the signals that my customers are doing to then gear my marketing to help move them into a tipping point to then either submit a lead or buy or create that messaging. So I think that's really the next evolution of really unlocking that into the next phase of like, the AI and CDP kind of construct.
Yeah, I think that's really powerful. The AI enhanced CDP so that you can market to people and not numbers. That's going to be the theme for 2024. We're going to talk about AI all the time. So come back, please, to our show.